Society often frames domestic abuse as something only women endure. Why can't some people accept rejection as a way of moving forward? For most, a breakup means pain, healing, and eventually, growth. But for others, rejection festers like an open wound, warping love into rage. This is the story of Ethan Parker, a kind-hearted young man whose only mistake was believing that walking away would end the nightmare. It didn't. Instead, his rejection set in motion an obsession that spiraled into a chilling murder, one that detectives would later describe as a web of lies, stalking, and a trail of digital ghosts. Ethan Parker was 31, a quiet graphic designer from Denver. His friends knew him as the reliable one, dependable, thoughtful, the sort who carried everyone else's burdens while rarely sharing his own. He wasn't flashy. He wasn't wealthy. But he was genuine. When he met Lena Morales, everything changed. She was 28, magnetic, and charismatic. With fiery eyes and a laugh that could light up a room, Lena was the opposite of Ethan's calm, reserved personality. They were drawn to each other like fire and oxygen, passionate, explosive, intoxicating. Lena had a darker side. She was jealous, possessive, and easily enraged. She would demand to see Ethan's phone, scroll through his messages, and interrogate him over every female colleague. Ethan excused it at first, telling himself it was passion, not control. But by the second year, the cracks widened. Arguments turned to screaming matches. Lena accused Ethan of cheating simply for working late. On more than one occasion, neighbors reported hearing Lena throwing things in the apartment. Ethan confided to a friend, "I don't know who I am anymore. I feel like I'm walking on glass every day." Eventually, he made a decision that would change everything. He ended the relationship. Breakups are hard, but for Lena, it was unbearable. She refused to accept it. Within days, Ethan's phone was flooded with texts, hundreds in a single week. Some messages were desperate pleas, "Please, Ethan, don't do this to us. We're meant to be." Others were venomous threats, "If I can't have you, no one will." It didn't stop there. Ethan's neighbors began noticing Lena's car parked across the street late at night. She appeared at his office uninvited, demanding to talk. His co-workers grew uneasy as she waited outside the building for hours. Then came the intimidation. Ethan's new girlfriend started receiving anonymous, harassing messages. The sender called her names, warned her to stay away from Ethan, and threatened to ruin her life. Though Ethan suspected Lena, he had no proof. He tried to downplay it. He told friends, "She's hurt, but she'll move on eventually." But Lena didn't move on. Her obsession grew darker, more dangerous. It was November 14th, bitterly cold in Denver. Ethan stayed late at work, finalizing a design project. Around 10:45 p.m., security cameras captured him leaving the office building, bundled in his jacket, carrying his laptop bag in the dimly lit garage. His footsteps echoed. He reached his car, unlocked it, and slipped into the driver's seat. Moments later, everything changed. A piercing scream echoed through the garage, followed by silence. When a coworker leaving the building minutes later stumbled upon Ethan, he was slumped over the wheel, blood soaking his shirt. His chest bore a single stab wound. His phone buzzed repeatedly on the seat beside him, incoming calls from Lena Morales. At first, detectives considered a robbery. But nothing was stolen. His wallet, laptop, and phone were untouched. Whoever killed Ethan hadn't wanted his possessions, they had wanted him. Detectives immediately turned their attention to Lena. She didn't deny the breakup, but she insisted she had accepted it. "I was home watching Netflix," she said calmly, claiming she hadn't seen Ethan in weeks. But investigators soon found cracks in her story. Surveillance footage revealed Lena's car circling Ethan's office block 3 times that night. Phone records showed dozens of calls to Ethan within the hour of his murder. Even more chilling, neighbors reported seeing Lena outside Ethan's apartment days earlier, screaming his name. Still, Lena was clever. She presented what looked like proof of her innocence, text messages from an unknown number threatening Ethan, suggesting he had a stalker. She argued she, too, had been a victim of harassment. But detectives weren't convinced. For weeks, the case seemed stuck. Lena had deleted incriminating messages, fabricated alibis, and even persuaded a friend to claim she was with them that night. It looked as though she might walk free. Then digital forensics cracked the case open. Specialists recovered deleted GPS data from Lena's car navigation system. It placed her at Ethan's office garage at 10:48 p.m., the exact time he was murdered. In her search history were chilling queries: how to delete GPS logs permanently, how long does it take for someone to die from a stab wound, and can police trace spoof texts? The digital ghosts she thought she had erased came back to haunt her. Lena's trial was one of the most watched in Colorado that year. Prosecutors described a woman consumed by obsession, her love warped into rage. They laid out the evidence, the surveillance footage, the deleted GPS data, the threatening texts. The defense painted a different picture. They argued Lena was mentally unstable, that she acted in a moment of uncontrollable passion. They begged the jury for leniency, insisting she wasn't a cold-blooded killer. But the jury wasn't swayed. The digital trail was undeniable. The obsessive messages, the stalking, the fabricated alibis, all pointed to one conclusion: Lena had murdered Ethan in cold blood. After just 6 hours of deliberation, the jury delivered its verdict: guilty of second-degree murder. Lena Morales was sentenced to 35 years in prison. His mother sobbed in court, whispering, he just wanted peace. He just wanted to move on. Ethan had been a victim long before the night he was murdered. The stalking, the harassment, the manipulation, they were all signs of abuse he had tried to endure in silence. Society often frames domestic abuse as something only women endure. But Ethan's case revealed a painful reality: men, too, can be victims of toxic and abusive partners. Ethan had dismissed Lena's behavior as emotional intensity. He thought he could manage it, contain it, live with it. But obsession doesn't fade when ignored. It festers. And in Ethan's case, it killed. Abuse has no gender. Toxic relationships can trap anyone, male or female. Control, manipulation, stalking, and violence are not signs of love, they are signs of danger. If you or someone you know is experiencing harassment or abuse, do not stay silent. Speak up. Reach out to a friend, family member, or the authorities. Your safety matters. Your life matters. No one should suffer in silence. And no life should be lost to fatal obsession. If you found this story compelling, subscribe for more true crime narratives where we uncover the dark truths hidden in everyday life. This story is a fictionalized true crime narrative created for entertainment and educational purposes. Any resemblance to actual persons or events is purely coincidental.